Minisode number 5 for niche scientists. There is no way I was going to pass this one up because of my own interests. And I was like, I need another Ig Nobel person because now I'm like fascinated with all these Ig Nobel prizes. So the last people we talked about with them, the fluid, that was like an engineering thing. This is a little different.
Yes.
This is Dr. Susanne Schötz, who is known as the cat lady of Sweden.
Of course.
There's no way I wasn't going to cover this. So she is a associate professor of phonetics, which is the study and classification of speech sounds at Lund University in Sweden.
Interesting.
And her specific research interests are how, well, one, more traditional. She's looking at the Swedish language and some dialect versions and things like that. But more interestingly for us, she's looking at phonetic variation in human-animal communication, specifically cats. So how are we communicating, and how, not just like the actual communication part, but the sound, the speech of it, the phonetics. Yes. So she's looking at cat-cat and cat-human communication. Her own words, she is interested in the sounds cat use in their vocal communications with other cats and humans, and how these sounds are combined and varied, and how humans perceive them. That's what she got her Ig Nobel on, was feline communication. So here's some research papers. She's actually maybe the most prolific person that I've covered, with more than 75 articles, book chapters, conference papers, and more. Her book, The Secret Language of Cats, How to Understand Your Cat for a Better, Happier Relationship, seems like a must-have for any cat owner. A Single Formant Explicates the Ubiquity of Meow. That's another paper title.
Jeez.
Melody Matters, an acoustic study of domestic cat meows in 6 contexts and 4 mental states. And so just like, they're all amazing. Okay? I wanted to talk about just a couple things that she has looked into. One is she created the Meowsic Project. You heard me.
Also
Meowsic.
an awesome name.
Yeah. It's a phonetic project aimed at understanding how cats and humans use melody, voice, and speaking style when communicating with one another. So the project had 2 studies that were like wrapped up in this. In study 1, they were trying to look at melody, like the intonation of these meows, in human-directed and cat-directed vocalizations. So they recorded data from 70 cats in their homes. So like they went to the cat's place where they feel more comfortable. So that they could get the full range of speech. And they recorded them interacting with their humans. What they found is that meows in positive and requesting contexts and mental states. So are they happy or they want something? When that's the case, they are short and high rising melodies. So, which, again, some of this, if you have had a cat, you're like, oh, yeah.
You get, that makes sense.
And then meows in negative contexts and mental states, usually when they're going to the vet, when they were studying them, that is characterized by long and a low falling melody. So, like, so,
which totally makes sense. Yeah.
And then in the second phase of the study, they were looking at how cats perceive different cues in humans. Can they distinguish between humans, styles, things like that? It doesn't seem, from what I was finding, unfortunately, the money ran out for this project because it was being sponsored by someone. So I don't think that they got to the second part of the study. It ended in 2022, but they got so much data from the first study that they were able to draw a lot of conclusions from this, and along with some of her other research. Another study that she did was how humans perceive the intonation from cats. So not just how cats are, like, can we tell the difference? Which anybody who owns a cat is like,
oh, yeah.
So they looked at whether humans could correctly classify a food meow versus a vet meow. So again, looking at this rising and falling, and do we understand cat speech? They had 30 listeners, 6 meows of each kind. And in general, most listeners were, like, overall listeners were able to identify.
Were they cat owners? Were they all cat owners?
But those with the past cat experience were practically flawless in identifying them.
Yeah,
listeners,
because again, if you have a cat or have had a cat, it is pretty common. Like, you can tell. Yeah, you can just tell. Yeah.
Listeners also reported that some meows were very easy to classify while others were more difficult. And so by looking at the results of this, it suggests that cats might use different patterns when interacting with humans, and we know that. So in general, from all of her research, what does any of this mean, and why does it even matter? Why do we need to know what cats are saying and things like that?
Yeah.
Well, what's cool is that cats do use melody and intonation to express their emotion just like humans. When I am excited about something or happy, I'm going up, right? You get squealy. And then when you're upset, you're going down. So we do that. Cats do that. That probably shows some sort of, in general, animal speech pattern, like through evolution. We are just programmed to do that.
Yeah, interesting.
Even if we're not using the same language. It also, they have...
Like, is it picked up on?
Right.
Because they can tell when we're happy and vice versa. Is it a learn?
That is the question, because I think it will take more, like, if we need to do this with dogs and other animals. Is this an animal thing, or is this just cats? Because what they also have discovered is that cats adjust their meows when communicating with humans. So they fine-tune their language to communicate with us, which a lot of cat people have heard this before, but now it's, yes, this is a thing. So domestic cats have much more vocal patterns than wild cats. And I'm not just talking wild, just feral cats are not actually making that much noise.
Yes.
But as soon as they become domesticated, they're very vocal. So cats get to know their person and what attracts attention, and so they fine-tune their language to be able to do that, showing, again, like a higher level of communication. Humans can tell what cats mean just from the sounds that they make. So across language, we, as humans, are also able to perceive such a thing. Purring is not just a single sound. Purrs can be different, and they think that there's like a spectrum with hidden messages. For example, there's one that they've discovered they called solicitation purring, which is when a cat wants something, comes over and starts purring on you. And it is high-pitched, mimicking a baby's cry, which they definitely think is a manipulation that has been evolved. Like, cats are like, this gets human attention. I want this, And again, it's not just meows, it's trills and purrs and growls and hisses, and all of them are associated with specific mental states, right? You're not hearing a growling happy cat, you're hearing a growling mad cat. So just like we have certain words and certain language for certain mental states, so do cats. And it's a pretty big mirror. But that there is no universal cat language. Each cat-human pair develops its own dialect. So it is relationship specific. So let's say I died tomorrow and Diggles had to go live with other people. He would adjust his language for his new people, which is amazing.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like a lot of this too, because like dogs definitely aren't that, and it's, I don't know, other than saying like intelligent, because you can definitely tell there's a huge intelligence difference.
And is it the manipulation aspect of it? And like, not that manipulate is, so I don't want anybody to think like manipulation is a bad thing, right?
It's not,
we're always trying to manipulate and influence each other in our everyday speech too, right?
Yes.
This is just the way that they have figured out.
Yes.
If I make certain noises, I get my person's attention. She likes that sound, I'm gonna make that sound more. Or like, like I can know in the middle of the night, if Diggle starts crying, he's got different meows. One of them is, I'm gonna throw up, I'm gonna find puke in the morning. One of them is, I'm hungry. And one of them is like, there's another cat outside. Like, I just know from context at this point, and I can pick up on those different intonations.
Yes.
So it's really,
because one of the cats I had growing up, and my whole family that I grew up with could attest to this, was that my cat had a very specific meow when he was specifically looking for me. Yeah. And it also eerily sounded like mom. Yeah. Like, it was creepy.
There's a lot of cats that have such close meowing that resembles human speech. It's crazy. Yes. There's like ones that sound like they're saying hi or please.
Yeah, no. Merv the cat is probably one of my favorite social media accounts out there, but he's the one that likes Charles. If you don't follow, if any of you out there that are listening don't follow, I think it is just Merv the cat. but there's like a whole lore because you can, once you start to follow the account, and it's not a cat with buttons thing. No, it's literally like constantly
like
sound like he's talking.
Mimicking human speech.
And so one of the really funny things is, I guess one of the humans, his parents or her parents is a couple, and one of their parents lives in Ohio, and the cat hates Ohio because to the cat it's like, I gotta go, it's not my house. And so anytime they're like, Merv, we gotta go to Ohio, you hear the cat like, like it does not, and it gets all pissed off and it's so mad because it doesn't want to go to Ohio. So yeah, cats definitely pick up, it's a different type of intelligence because like my dog is smart, but not in the same way cats are.
Right, because like
close.
a dog
it's
is amazing
different.
with like smell and spatial intelligence and things. It's just a different type. Cats are just better at communicating, which makes sense considering they domesticated themselves. This is their leg up, right? Like they wouldn't have gotten where they are if they couldn't communicate with us.
Yeah.
And so
this is just their next step to ruling the world and humans. Like this is just
and then so like I would say long-term implications for this. One, besides just being freaking cool, and if you have a cat, knowing this stuff makes you a better pet parent. Just
absolutely.
Looking at human animal communication in general is valuable because obviously we are also animals and we share this planet with a million animals. If we can figure out how do different species communicate, we can work better together, whether that's a working animal, whether that's a pet, whether that's something that's wild, and then where our own speech comes from. Like, how did that even evolve, and is it common across other species?
Yeah. That's really cool. Really cool. All right, guys. So next week we will bring another regular long episode to you. After that, we will have one more mini episode. And make sure you go check us out on Patreon and support us there if you can. And follow us on social media, Wildly Curious Podcast. And we will talk to you guys next week.
See ya.